Tech Town. Oh my God. The worst thing is, you may never understand how much they've truly taken from you.
As Mongol right wing, I know some of his stakes are right wing, but not all of it. If Baron says, Raf, check another right wing figure. What do you mean another? Because I don't know if I know that is Asmongold right wing. I know some of his stakes are right wing, but not all of his stakes are right wing. I thought he was more of either a centrist or kind of a mildly right wing. That's the way I saw him, to be honest. You say he is, but then again, you're on the left, so I kind of want to hear someone on the center say that, mostly because I've seen Hassan calling him a right winger, and I don't believe a word that comes from Hassan.
Do you see how? Look, he kind of did the thing, right? Hassan is the ordinary left, and he's accusing Asmongold of being the ordinary right. Right? See the mind f***ing that happens there.
Over by
Rachel Campos Duffy has a habit of interviewing professional political activists who she tries to present as just random people. There's nothing wrong with interviewing a political activist, but the Fox News audience should be made aware of that the person is an activist or influencer. The restaurant is mostly empty behind them. No one has food on their plates and everyone is looking right at the camera. It's just some ordinary folks on a Friday at 7 a.m. Wait, what?
by Ospreys over into the Caribbean, and over by Ospreys over into the Caribbean to really see what's happening. And boy, are the people in this room excited about what this attention on the Western Hemisphere will mean for all of us as Americans. I'm going to start here with Driana. Driana, what are your thoughts? Pete Hegseth saying in that interview that this is now up to Maduro to decide what the next step is.
Absolutely. And if you guys remember that famous speech by Donald Trump that said, Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi is dead, that went viral. I think that's going to be Maduro's future. And maybe he should play that on repeat as a warning as to what happens to people that threaten our country.
Just casually threatening to murder political leaders in other countries based.
Countries, national security.
Turn down the temperature, liberals. Liberals need to disavow this woman, though. White woman, female feminist, must be probably liberal, progressive, maybe trans Tifa. We need to do a facial analysis. Have liberals disavowed this yet?
Why everybody in this room is very excited that we're finally going after somebody that has imported so much narco-terrorism to this country and that we are going after him. So yeah, I'm very supportive of this.
So I kind of suspected that this young woman here was not just a random person in a diner. This was shot at approximately just before 7 a.m. Eastern time in Florida. Her hair is perfect. Her makeup is perfect. She's quite poised, incredibly well-spoken, very charming. I'm not attacking this woman in any way, shape, or form. This is her Instagram. Her name is Driana Sixto. She works for Turning Point Action. Now, Rachel Campos Duffy didn't mention any of that before she interviewed her. I think Turning Point Action could have used the plug, by the way, and Driana Sixto probably wants more followers. She might get them from this. That's fine. But Rachel Campos Duffy has a habit of doing this. She interviews people that she pretends are just random people on the street, and they're actually professional political activists. And again, there's nothing wrong with that. Just the Fox News audience should have known about it.
Actual professionals. Oh shit, it's the every accusation is a confession part. Is there any part of you deep down that regrets not just disavowing it on the show, just so you can get in there and make your argument that Trump not disavowing is a huge issue? No, because that never happens next. That next part never, ever, ever comes. I don't know why you guys keep getting mind-fucked by the fantasies that don't happen. There's never been a show where that's what they talk about. It never comes next. That's never the next part ever. The next part, if I were to disavow, the next part, let's go through all these other tweets. Don't you think it's horrible that these guys aren't disavowing? Don't you think it's bad that these guys don't disavow? Don't you think that it's crazy? Now let's talk about, Miss Charlie Kirk and how sad it is that she's like, that next part never comes. It hasn't happened.
Not only doesn't Florida use your, what about this? The fact of the matter is the both sides argue.
Actually, you can take here, you know what? Also, because listen, I'm not like necessarily married to this optics strategy, because this is a hard one. There's a lot of upward fighting here, okay? Unironically, okay? The whole prisoner's dilemma, civil war isn't the worst outcome. These are hard positions to defend, okay? There's a lot of explanation. There's a lot of debate involved. There's a lot of intellect. You have to buy into a lot of what I'm saying. It's impossible to get out on a super ultra debate show, obviously, all right? If you can show me any one of these panels or show me any other major conservative media figure, anybody who after the Democrat disavows, then the conservative is like, okay, I get that. I hear what you're saying. You're right. Our side definitely needs to tone it back as well. If you show me it working somewhere, then I would copy that strategy instead because it's easier to sell.
Sure. What about this? The fact of the matter is the both sides argument not only doesn't fly, we don't care. We don't care about your both sides argument. That shit is dead. For one thing, there is no cognitive dissonance on our side. On your side, your beliefs do not match reality, so you're coming up with these rationalizations like, what about this or what about that? We're not doing that because we saw it happen. We saw a young, bright man assassinated.
I just can't convey to you this. I'm sorry, and I wish I could, and I feel somewhat responsible for rotting your mind. It is just that I remember back when I started watching years ago, you were the guy that can go in and debate Republicans because you met them halfway and you took pride in it. I agree reps are crazy, but it used to be your thing. My thing was placating autistic, Down syndrome-ridden children that weren't capable of having honest conversations. So I had to pretend like we were talking for real. Jordan Peterson is a PhD educated, maybe even Clinton. Was he a doctor? Or like a medical doctor? I don't remember. This guy is highly educated. How am I having a conversation with a man years past the pandemic who doesn't know what VAERS is? That's not a serious conversation. That's not a serious topic. If I was in an aggressive mode and I was debating somebody who claimed to be educated and didn't know how VAERS worked, I would immediately write them off. I would have gone in hard. When Candace lied to me to my fucking face about her college education, when she looked at me so confused, when she was like, yeah, I grew up insanely poor. We didn't have any money. When I went to college, I took out a ton of student loans. And I said, wait, you had no money. You were extremely poor. You went to college. You had to take out a ton of loans. You couldn't afford it. And she was like, yeah, what do you mean? I just said it. I was like, oh, you're fucking lying about your whole past. You've never applied for financial in your fucking life. There's no way that an intelligent black woman in the area that you lived would have to pay full cost for out-of-state tuition if you were blowing away all your classmates in terms of grades, which she said you was, right? But like, these are not serious conversations. You think that I went on these platforms and you think that I was having like big boy, like both sides. That's not. When Ben Shapiro, who's supposed to be an intelligent person, is saying, well, the guardrails held, so if Donald Trump wants to, take another crack at it, that's okay. Who would never use that argument for any political leader. None of these things, none of these are serious conversations. I hate that I made you think they were. Like I said, I feel like I regret that. That part of my political arc was going on these shows and pretending like we were having real big boy conversations, but they weren't big boy conversations. These were conversations where I was wearing the most child-proof gloves possible to be as gentle as possible so as to not offend the incredibly delicate sensibilities of these toddler tyrants.
And we know who did it. We are not coming up with rationalizations. We are calm, we are honest, and we are resolute. We're not defensive. And I understand the defensiveness. I understand why people are saying, what about this and what about this? Because if you have to face the underlying fact to this, you're like
Destiny, but they'll look unhinged. If you don't disavow, you appear the same as them. Good. We should be unhinged. The situation right now is not normal. And I think sometimes people look to leaders to see what the response should be. We should be unhinged right now. You just listen to the president of the United States talk about how he would weaponize the state police against governors that weren't okay with him taking the National Guard and deploying it to their own cities. You should be unhinged. That's fucking crazy. That's insane. He said like 7 different insane things. The guy claimed not to know that state senators were murdered by a conservative radical a couple months ago. He pretended to be clueless about it and was pretending like he didn't say that he would never talk to Walter. The guy's an unhinged maniac. He's whacked out. Yeah, there should be some unhingedness. It's crazy. None of this is okay. It's insane. It's crazy making to make somebody feel like they're crazy for saying that it's crazy.
Life is going to fall apart because you're going to raise the underlying fact to this. Your life is going to fall apart because you're going to realize you're not the good guys. If you sat around and you defended the mutilation of children, you're not the good guys. If you sat...
Like, listen to this. The mutilation of children. Meanwhile, the president of the United States is shipping people off to a concentration camp in El Salvador that we paid them $6 million to run, just so that we could ship people out of here a little bit faster without due process via the invocation of the Alien Enemies Act. But we're going to talk about trans children.
And you defended the mutilation of children, you're not the good guys. If you sat 600, 700 cases of harassment against Republicans, and you said, but what about this? What about this? And then you see this murder.
Harassment cases against Republicans, and this guy has ignored. I mean, we've already gone through over and over again all the political assassinations or assassination attempts or attacks recently that Donald Trump seems to just not know anything about.
After calling somebody a fascist, you realize maybe I'm not the good guy. That is a hell of a realization to deal with. So therefore, you have to grasp at rationalizations. You don't have to do that, Jessica. They do. I don't believe you're part of that group, but why the hell do you have to mimic and echo that crap to us? He was a patsy. That guy was a patsy. He was under the hypnotic spell of a direct-to-consumer nihilism.
This is what you want to sit here and have liberals disavow and apologize for? What? And you think after this guy's going to be like, okay, you're right. There is a lot of violence on our side. We need to work on it as well.
The trans cult, and you know that. If you can decide...
Like, just listen to how... imagine explaining 30 years from now, or 50 years from children to grandchildren. Dad, Grandpa, can you tell us about the great trans wars of 2025? I'm reading through quotes from all your media people you publish. So were there really, like, super soldier, trans Tifa, like, guerrilla forces roaming the streets, murdering people? What the fuck are we talking about right now? Hello?
That biology is false. You can agree.
Yeah, I feel like I'm reading I'm reading dialogue from Slaughterhouse-Five. This feels like it's not even 1984. This is like a Kurt Vonnegut book. What the fuck is this guy even talking about? And this guy is like, not only is this guy doing this, there are people at home watching him. They're like, fucking A, yeah, hell yeah, fucking A, yes, talk. Preach, brother.
And you know that. If you can decide that biology is false, you can agree that murder is okay and that humanity is expendable. How you cannot see that alone and see that for what the evil it is without having to attach all of these other things is beyond me.
I just want to be clear, and I want to let people speak. I in no way...
Oh, thank God. She's going to... Okay. Fuck. Okay. I don't want to watch the rest of this because now I know what's going to happen. She's going to fully disavow, and then the other guy is going to apologize and say, yeah, okay, you're right. I'm glad you disavowed. We do need to work on both sides and tone it down. Fuck. I'm about to look so stupid. Oh, fuck.
Intended at all to minimize what happened to Charlie. I was horrified by it. I have not been on the five
but
since
the two
then,
sides argument, it's like pig Latin to a duck.
No. All that I was saying is could we have all of the information before you just say they did this? Because that is a broad brush to paint with this. And this kid
Let's have a conversation.
No.
Charlie had a conversation. He got shot. Look, I'm sorry, Jessica. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You weren't here for a week. You came in here and it's cold. And I'm sorry, but this is a story that is immune to news cycles. It's immune to rationalizations. It's immune to bias. This thing is with us for good.
Immune to rational. Meanwhile, initially it was a trans shooter. Then it was trans bullets. Now it's a trans girlfriend. Then maybe a trans roommate. Now we've got trans notes that were eaten by the trans Marxist dog that admitted to the trans plot. I saw somebody tweeting yesterday. Was it Libs of Tucker or somebody else? There were 6 trans planners for the assassination. I don't even know.
And we all have to deal with that. So that means we can't live by the same arguments that you might be reading about relativism among the media. We can't deal with those stories. It doesn't matter. The media is dead to us on the story. They built this thing up. We're dealing with it. We're going to act. We don't care what the whataboutism is anymore. That shit's dead. Sorry. For the swearing as well. I apologize to the American public. I'm going to shut up for the rest of the show.
And are you less angry? You've had the weekend. Are you less angry or more angry? Do you feel as though you've gotten the rest you need, or is it the kind of tired that sleep doesn't seem to fix? Because that's where a lot of us are here. I know. And I want to say a couple of things. Last week, some words I think could be taken out of context. And I want to be really, really clear, especially while we're at this boiling point in our country, where people may take some clips and tell you that Steven Crowder is irresponsible. He advocated violence. That's right.
Fuck, I thought he was gonna say, no, I don't wanna advocate my... Wait, hold on, he's gonna go on, sorry. I'm sorry. Fuck, when did he post this? Wait. Oh, he probably saw me on Pures. This one is also me, guys, I'm sorry, I didn't disavow. My bad, hold on.
Steven Crowder is irresponsible.
Maybe he's gonna say something different.
Advocated violence. That's right. I am.
Hold on, he's gonna do it.
I want to be crystal clear about that. I am advocating for lawful violence defensively.
Oh, lawful violence. Oh, thank you.
That has been abandoned for years, and I want it to replace where grace was afforded.
Okay. I have no fucking idea what that means, but thank you. Okay. So where there used to be grace, now there will be lawful, self-defensive violence. What was considered lawful again? What did Trump say? He who saves his country does not violate any law. Saves, that's kind of defensive, right?
Before. So I want to be clear, I'm not calling for anyone to go out in the street and commit random acts of violence or even targeted acts of violence. That is not what I am calling for. But I am calling for lawful violence to protect you and your own where you afforded grace to the left before.
Okay. No clue what the fuck that means, but all right. Let's see what some centrists are saying. Jesus fucking Christ. This is the type of shit if a girl sends you a block like this, it's time to move on, my friend. Go to the next phase of your life. These last 2 weeks have completely blackpilled me on the left. Even after 10 years of covering their antics. Woke up, oh yeah, these last 2 weeks, the left is unhinged, they're crazy. But not the last year of the insane shit that Trump has said or done or promised to do? None of that. But this, the leftists on Twitter, these have radicalized you. Okay. I am not leaving the left. I still have all my economic left positions. I am quintessentially a 2015 Bernie bro, a Huey Long disciple for strong social safety nets, workers' rights, etc. That hasn't changed and only has gotten stronger with time. I side with them on things like Israel and war in general, but is that even what the left is nowadays? I don't know. Looking around on Twitter and all the social media feeds that are being fed to me by conservative-owned platforms, personally, on a human level, if this is what the left is, I am not left. For the first time in a decade, I truly do not want to be grouped in with these people. It is now very clear we live in completely different realities with different morals, from the insane, bizarre reaction to the murder of an innocent woman on a train. Did I miss all the people that were pro-killing of the woman? By the way, her boyfriend is like a full-on fucking neo-Nazi. That weird dude with the fucking Russian statue or whatever, whatever the fuck that guy's name is like a full-on fucking, assuming they're still dating or married, I don't know what the fuck. Dismissing people's very real concerns about a dying, decaying society to, well, that's just living in a city, Chad. Car accidents are more common, to celebrating the gruesome murder of a husband, father, just a guy, not a politician, not a CEO, a fucking guy. Yeah, true, just a random dude. That is crazy. He's literally just a random guy. Why would anybody have any strong opinions about literally just a random dude? Cassandra McDonald. This is not like the wife of like the rapper guy, right? No. Okay. Oh, she was married and has a kid with Eurodymoniusk or whatever, who is a post-liberal NRXer. The fuck does NRXer mean? National Race Crosser. I don't know. Oh, neo-reactionary. Gotcha. Part of the Dark Enlightenment. Ooh. Jesus Christ.
Envy.
How they think Tyler's trans roommate was controlling him.
Envy is a calling. It is the sole hope for humanity because it is what has driven me to annihilating you. What a! What a! What a! What a! What a! Envy.
Nice. Wait, what's the one quote? Wait. Got it. My man, you do not have to post through this, just say you're working on it. Code your own engine and show us how it's done, please. We will be your customer when you pull it off. The people doing it now are clearly dumb and don't know what they're doing, and all the support and recommendations and code and architecture from the world's greatest hardware companies and tech. Why is this guy mad? Customer service reports for Borderlands 4, roughly 1% or so of installs. FBI Director Kash Patel will testify in our Judiciary Committee this Wednesday. For what? Borderlands 4 released with ship performance, and the CEO is coping. Randy Pitchford is CEO of Gearbox. Borderlands 4 just released, and like many new games, it has performance issues. I like how it's acceptable for AAA games to release like dog shit, and you have to wait like 2 weeks for drivers updates. Oh, I like how Metatron is also responding to randos on Twitter while dodging my call out. I would have thought they have determined the shooter's ideology by now. Do you think this delay in releasing info on his beliefs speaks to what they are? They either can't find anything to tie him solidly to left-wing stuff, or it looks more kind of like right-wing-ish. But it's hard to say, maybe. I don't know. Who knows? This is fucking wild to me. I already responded to Michael Knowles triggers. Text message, Erica Kirk. I refuse to let the movement Charlie built die. It will only grow stronger, bolder, louder. Join me. Wait, was that a scam link? Or is that a real link? Fax-76.com. That looks like a scam link, no? Turning point action. The cries of this widow will echo around the world like a battle cry. The evildoers who took Charlie's life, they have no idea what they have done. If they thought my husband's mission was powerful before, they have no idea what they've just unleashed. Not just across the country, but in me. Charlie always said never surrender. The movement my husband built will not die. Charlie always said never surrender. The movement my husband built will not die. I refuse to let it happen. And if you refuse to let Charlie's vision die, join me in making Turning Point USA the biggest thing that this nation has ever seen. Thank you for Charlie. Choose amount to donate. $100,000 is a button? Okay. true. I remember this one.
The first
What was this lady?
question, the first question that came up that I saw anyway, and that a lot of you have asked me, is, are we headed for a civil war? And I want to start by saying
No.
that wars, especially civil wars,
Are rare.
wars about power.
Oh.
And they are supported by people who have some fantasy that they're going to come out of it on top.
True.
And I always point here to
This is why I say this jokingly, but it's also kind of serious. Whenever people are like zombie apocalypse or whatever, I'm like, I feel like in a zombie apocalypse or civil war, like chances are you're just some dude that gets like randomly fucking dome skied. Like I feel like a lot of civil war participants or war participants in general, you ever play like PUBG and you spend like 24 minutes looting the absolutely perfect M4A, whatever the fuck, and you got all the best attachments, and then you just get like randomly headshot while you're running to a bar. And it's like, oh, okay, well, that was a good fucking waste of my life.
the Confederacy, where a very few leaders dragged the white men primarily, but the white people of the Confederacy into a war that they all thought was going to be easy. You know, there was literally a guy at the beginning of the American Civil War, one of the leaders of the Democratic Party in the American South, who literally said that he would drink all the blood that would be spilled in any civil war because it was so obvious that the North was going to back down. Now, you look at the extraordinary death rate 4 years later and recognize just how misguided that was, but also how evil it was. And the other piece of that is that a lot of the people who think it's going to be easy and think, you know, they're going to be these great heroes, first of all, they end up dying in really ugly ways. But second of all, at the end of the day, when the war is over, they have not changed the equation at all. The rich guys still are in charge of everything at the end of the Civil War. And that's, you know, when people sort of are rattling their sabers in this moment, one of the things I hope people hear is that there is never, ever a winner in a war. Ever. And
wait, this sounds like the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. Wait, who is this person? There are absolutely winners in war. Ask the losers. I mean, what do you mean? What?
There is also plenty of time and plenty of opportunity to turn a war back until the firing starts.
That's true.
And this is something I learned in my Wounded Knee book, that lots of people made lots of poor decisions that ended up in a place where the firing started. And the people who got hurt by it were not the ones making those decisions. So, you know, when people talk about, is civil war inevitable, for example, and they're really, some people are really urging that, it just makes my skin crawl because it is never.
That is true. There's always off-ramps. Like history is not, this is like the hardest thing to convince people, is that history is not an inevitability. People always think we're making moral progress, or we're making some kind of progress where we've gotten to this place, and of course we will, because we were always going to progress to this place. But that's not true. Things could have always gone a different way. Maybe there's a better place we could be in, but we missed, you know, some decision somewhere, and we could go to worse places if people make the wrong decisions. But people just think that if we just keep pushing sideways on this status quo, that like everything will sort itself out, and that's not true. You need people to make better decisions. You need leadership to make better choices. Ever a good thing. And if you followed me for a long time, you know there is actually something that I really won't talk about in American history, and that is the violent end of certain people. And the reason for that is because those things never are good. They are never good. So anyway, you've asked if we're going toward a civil war. Certainly that could be an outcome in this moment. But one of the things that we don't pay a lot of attention to in popular culture is how many wars don't happen. You know, you think about all the wars that do happen, and presidents rarely get credit for not causing wars. But, you know, off the top of my head, I can think of at least one time when the U.S. came this close to a second civil war. And it didn't. I mean, literally, people were arming. People said, we're ready to go to war. And people found a solution to that. And that was after the election of 1876, which was deeply contested and was not settled. It was in November of 1876. It wasn't settled until March of 1877. That's December, January, February, and a little bit of March. 3 months where it looked like the United States was going to war, literally. And then it didn't. Happened again in 1879. I mean, there's a lot of opportunities to go to war. This is why a healthy level of conservatism is necessary for a stable society. Not a healthy level of conservatism. There should be a fully fledged conservative party. I think that having two like polar opposite parties, or at least two different polarities represented in our political system, is fine. The problem is just we don't have that stable conservative party. We don't have any. We just have this, whatever the insanity that is MAGA is right now, who deny reality at every turn of the corner, and who are fundamentally supportive of authoritarianism. It sucks that It sucks too that like if you're the real victims are the never Trumpers who are now basically just friends with like other liberals, and they have to live in this awkward world where they're not really liberal. Like they might be pro-life, they might be pro-gun, they might be, you know, like socially conservative in other ways, but now all of their friends have to be liberals because they can't have Republican friends, because if you don't support Donald Trump, you are a castaway from the cult.
Or that actually don't happen. So I am not at all ready to say we are headed for a shooting war.
The fuck is this? Charlie Kirk assassination, latest shooting committed by trans people and advocates. Is this the shooter? Who the fuck are these three people? Who is this guy? None of them are? Other shooters? Okay. What are our off-ramps? Right now, if the President of the United States of America literally just said, hey, everybody, we all need to like chill the fuck out, everything would get like 75% better. It would be a 75% decrease in everybody being as unhinged as possible. Everybody on the left would be immediately comfortable with it. I would be. No one would have any problem saying, oh, we agree with that. Everybody needs to calm the fuck down. 100%. And it would give more room for us on the left to excise our lunatics, right? Number one. But number two, the right is a cult. They'll follow whatever Trump said, okay? They will. They did it with the Epstein shit. They've done it with attacks on Iran. They've done it with every single decision he's made. They'll follow Trump to the ends of the earth. So if Trump tells them to calm the fuck down, just like when he told them to go the fuck home on January 6th, and they went the fuck home, right? He absolutely has the ability to do it. He just needs to say that. This should be the easiest thing in the world. Oh my God, kill me. I will be going to an Orthodox church for the first time in about 14 years. I never had a good experience when I was younger, but I never stopped exploring my beliefs independently. Any advice or things I should prepare for?
You did nothing wrong.
Oh, I don't know if I can handle a Sam Hyde video.
This is you.
Ugh. I think it's the restroom. 1 sec. Oh boy.
This is your sister, your wife, your daughter. But this right here is you. This is your sister, your wife, your daughter. This is you. This is your sister, your wife, your daughter. But this is you. And this is their reaction when you are killed. This is the joy they feel when your sister is raped, when your children are castrated, brainwashed to hate you. This is their ecstasy when the floor of the subway car is awash in your blood.
How many retweets did that and how many jokes did that one trans person get when they took like the picture of them? Did they actually kill themselves? The person who talked about jumping off the bridge. Does anybody remember what I'm talking about? Was that over 100K or? Am I making this up, or did Tim Pool make fun of I feel like I remember Tim Pool talking about that one guy who got just stabbed in New York City in front of his girlfriend, and he was like, "This is what you voted for, isn't it?" Oh yeah, this one, Jesus.
This is you. Make no mistake, that is a symbol, that is you. But this won't last long. They can't help themselves because they're so ugly and so low that the only joy they can experience, the only good that they can envision is to take something beautiful or innocent down to their level. And when they can't do it, the next best thing is blood. This is Charlie's family, and these are his children who will never be able to hug their dad.
Oh my God. I can't. I'm sorry. Not the edgiest fucking dude on the fucking planet.
And grow up with a murdered father. And these are the people who smugly revel in this, and they won't stop with just Charlie. The boats are burned. There's nobody coming to help. The barbarians are at the gate.
But the crying for, like, I don't even remember if any Democrats did cry for Abrego Garcia. People got mad when that senator just went to visit him, and he was sitting and talking at that table with him. Nobody cares about all the deported families. Nobody cares about the children separated from anything. Nobody cares about the raped and dead Ukrainians. Nobody cares about it's such a it's so tribalistic. It's unbelievable. It's so tribalistic and so performative. It's unreal.
This is the fall of ancient Rome that we are living through currently. And what happens in the next 2 weeks is going to determine the future of mankind. That's not hyperbole. That's just how it is.
Wait, what? It's worse. Tim said that guy was the aggressor? Did he? Ryan Carson hit Brian Dowling for... Oh, he's probably just making a stupid meme about it, but...
A few notes before we start. I've seen some Twitter posts from people lamenting, apologizing, because their last interactions with Charlie were less than kind. And congratulations if that's you, because that's proof that you have a soul. And similarly, I think we had to cut 30 minutes from the last episode of Sam Hyde Show because I called him something not nice. Some people offering their condolences, paying their respects, etc. Started off with a qualifier. Well, I didn't agree with Charlie on everything. Essentially that he wasn't based enough. And this is fine too. We all have some strain of autism that is compels us to constantly signal how based we are, and that's fine. And it's fine because we're stuck with this problem together. We're in this together. This is banter. It's for us to talk about. It's for our side to talk about. It's not for outsiders to try to use logic against us, to try to hold us to rules that they don't hold themselves to. That's all that needs to be said about it. The fact is, Charlie Kirk is a martyr. He is a Christian, white martyr. If you are Christian, if you are white, if you're a shitlib who miraculously somehow still believes in free speech, Charlie Kirk died for you. And he probably would have done it, anyway. I talked to Alex Stein a lot about him. He probably still would have done it if he knew he was going to die doing it.
Again, it depends on the age of you, but I've heard this ever since this is a dark day in American history. But I remember the day, was I still in high school, 2007, 2006, when Starbucks dared to put Happy Holidays on the Starbucks cup. And they told us on the radio over and over and over again that they were coming for white Christian America and that we were going to be eliminated. It was happening. All the gun stores in Nebraska, I remember when Obama won the first election, they had like mini discounts and sales and shit on ammunition and guns, saying Obama's about to outlaw all firearms. Stock up now. Obama's going to take your guns and your ammo. Stock up now. You know what's really funny, though, is that they know this. Conservatives, like the politicians, and Sam Hyde. Sam Hyde is a smart guy. They know this is all a game. This is all a performance. You remember what Obama got in big trouble for this quote. What was it? They cling to their guns and religion.
But the truth is that our challenge is to get people persuaded that we can make progress when there's no evidence of that in their daily lives. And you go into some of these small towns in Pennsylvania, like a lot of small towns in the Midwest. You know, the jobs have been gone now for 25 years and nothing's replaced it. And they've gone through the Clinton administration and the Bush administration, and each successive administration has said that somehow these communities are going to regenerate, and they have not. So it's not surprising then that they get better and they cling to guns or religion or antipathy towards people who aren't like them, or anti-immigrant sentiment, or anti-trade sentiment, and a way to explain their frustrations. Now these are in some communities. I think what you'll find is that people of every background, they're going to be a mix of people. You can go in the toughest neighborhood, working class, lunch pail folks, and you'll find
Holy fuck, the audio quality is this.
Obama enthusiasts. And you can go into places where you think that I'd be very strong and people will just be skeptical.
This cling to their guns and religion comment, people hated Obama for this. Fuck, I'm not going to be able to find this interview. It was interesting, though, because J.D. Vance, this was before he became a complete Trump dick suck sellout, back when he said that Trump might be Hitler. Fuck, I remember watching an interview with him where he talked about that quote, and he's like, Obama was actually kind of right. I think people do weaponize these too much or whatever. They all know what they're doing. Fuck, I wish I could remember. I wish I could remember the interview that he does for this.
Finally.
Oh my God, I remember this stupid shit.
Tonight, the factor tip of the day. There's some anger over Starbucks. It's coffee cups and Christmas. Last year, the coffee cup Starbucks used had a little wintry design on it. Nothing directly associated with Christmas, just a pleasant little image. This year, the cup is just red, no design. Now, when we first saw the red cup, I thought Starbucks may be favoring the Republican states. But then I realized that's impossible. It's a Seattle-based company. Then I heard Donald Trump and others were angry about the little red cup, saying it dismissed Christmas. Well, as the original War on Christmas 5-star general, I have to say, I don't see any problem here.
Oh, good job. Bill O'Reilly didn't care. I wonder if he was he the guy that popularized it earlier? This was earlier than 2015. There was a huge deal initially. Maybe conservatives got over it eventually.
Red is one of the colors of Christmas. Santa's outfit is red. Rudolph's nose is red. Cup's okay with me. Here's a factor tip today. This kind of stuff diminishes the real problem when certain companies order their employees not to say the word Christmas. That's what the war is all about, not a silly red cup.
Was it Vance's interview with Charlie Rose? I don't remember. I think it was like a dark background and him talking. But I don't know. I'll look for it in the future. I'm just saying, don't think that these guys are being honest. They're not. This is all a play.
And we're all united now in a battle for the soul of mankind. And by the way, this is why we have free speech in the first place. It's not because of some 1960s hippie commie staged faggotry.
I think a huge reason Sam is so emotional about this is because he shares similar views as Charlie and think he could have easily been him at one point in future. What? Sam Hyde is a neo-Nazi. Charlie Kirk is not even remotely close to being a neo-Nazi. I haven't viewed the totality of Sam's content, but it wouldn't surprise me if Sam Hyde took a ton of shots at Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk would have been insanely fucking cucked compared to how based and awesome and Nazi-pilled Sam Hyde's ideology is. But I haven't watched the totality of his content, so.
That we have free speech. It's not because Mr. Jew in a bow tie went on a bus and marched on Washington. The reason we have free speech is because at pivotal stages throughout
The Vance clip.
Pennsylvania.
Oh, it was this, the black background. It's actually all black. Holy shit.
I think there is a precious little dialogue between these two big cultural segments of America. So sort of middle America, flyover country, whatever you want to call it. You know, Donald Trump has become their sort of representative, and they're very proud, even though they may not like
trouble
him.
in Pennsylvania.
Exactly.
In the camera in 2008.
Sure, for saying that folks clinging to their guns and religion, right?
Yes.
Which I think was a well-intentioned comment, right? He mentioned that folks were struggling economically, and that was his explanation. But it was sort of layered with a certain amount of condescension. You don't, adults that you...
Like, do you see this is one thing that I hate about so many of these people. Cenk is like this as well. When you look back at stuff that they would say before they became big politicians, they actually had fair and nuanced and intelligent takes on things, right? Like communicating an idea with good intentions, having some air of condescension about it. This was a problem with liberals, Obama as well, right? But like the analysis here is not Obama fucking hated religious men. He fucking hated white America. Right.
Respect, don't cling to things. You might have said it a much different way, and I don't think the comment would have had nearly the effect that it did if he'd said it in a much more compassionate way.
So how do we change this?
Yeah, so that's a really tough question. I mean, I continue to think that one of the big problems, one of the big sources of this cultural divide.
I don't think we watch the rest of this. Whatever we'll say.
Is the fact that people aren't spending a whole lot of time together. So when my wife, who is of Indian descent, was born in San Diego, the first time that I brought her home, I was terrified that she would think my family was a bunch of dumb hillbillies and that my family think that she was this sort of out-of-touch elitist. And the truth is that they actually love each other, and that's obviously a small example. But, when people spend time to each other, there's contact theory that suggests that when people from different groups spend time with each other, they actually empathize with each other in a much greater extent. It's a consequence of the fact that we have too much geographic segregation between the elites and the rest of the country. At the end
Oh, fucking based. Thank you, God. Trump's claims on political violence ignore his own rhetoric. After Charlie Kirk's killing, the president and his allies are cherry-picking evidence and misleading about other recent violent episodes. True. Please, God, do not fucking cuck out on this. Just so important that at least somebody understands what the fuck is happening.
End of the day, if you're a policymaker in Washington, D.C., you know very little about the people in Middletown, Ohio, not because you're a bad person, but because you don't actually spend much time with them.
One thing that resonates with the political community that Donald Trump says he's the leader of, the movement that he says he's a leader of, is an opposition to, quote, globalization, an opposition to trade. They see that as sort of friends of the establishment, which have restrained them by taking the manufacturing out of their small town and sending it overseas. And they're left there with the same life they had, with no income, and trying to figure out a way to live a good life.
Right. Yeah, that's absolutely right. And work isn't just about a wage, right? It's not just about income. It brings pride. It's about building something. It's belonging to a community of workers. I remember my grandpa, to the day that he died, would point out cars that had been made with steel from the steel mill that he had worked out and said, we built that car. Yeah. That pride has really started to disappear because the jobs have started to disappear. And that's a really, really underappreciated factor of what's going on.
Do the people you write about feel like they're victims?
I think in a lot of ways they do feel like they're victims. They feel that they've been victimized by the political class. They see the jobs going overseas, and they want to blame somebody, right? And oftentimes the only person that makes sense to point their finger at is their local representative or their local congressman or the president.
Now, you have said one of the great predictors of whether you'll be attracted to Donald Trump is whether you are pessimistic or optimistic about the future.
That's right.
If you're pessimistic about the future, you'll vote for Donald Trump.
That's right. One of the biggest drivers of Trump's support, and one of the things that's most predictive of his support, is that you express cynicism about the future and a belief that your kids.
That's what he gives voice to every time he makes some campaign stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. You think about the way that he talks about.
Your cynicism is appropriate.
Absolutely.
Because those people don't care.
Absolutely. You think about the slogan, "Make America Great Again." The implication is that America isn't great right now, and if you're very unhappy about your life, that's going to resonate.
Do you think this is a large number of people? Do you think this is enough people to elect Donald Trump?
No, I don't think it's a large enough people to elect Donald Trump. Obviously, the demographics of the country have changed a lot, and the white working class community is still a pretty significant part of the electorate, but it's not nearly enough to elect Donald Trump alone. So my fear is, I think Donald Trump is not the right candidate for this group of voters, but my fear...
Who would have been?
Well, I don't know that there was a single candidate who really appealed to these voters in a way that one, inspired them, and two, actually had a set of policies that would have been good for them, either on the Democratic side or on the Republican side. Part of the problem of this election is, in fact, that I think that the problems that are unique to some of these working class communities don't get a lot of attention, and maybe, hopefully that the book will raise people's awareness a little bit.
And they feel strongly about patriotism, they feel strongly about national service, and they feel strongly about the American military.
Sure.
Because they have been the backbone of those people who've gone to war.
Yeah, absolutely. You think of the demographics of the U.S. military, it's more likely to be Republican, more likely to be working and middle class, not especially destitute, not especially wealthy, and in the South and Appalachia. That is Donald Trump's core group of supporters right there.
And what's the difference? I mean, politicians have often speculated about this. The inability to unite the white poor with a broad brush, and the African-American poor, and even the Latino poor. We haven't had that, and it's because of race, cultural differences,
right,
and other things, because that's a powerful coalition. You saw with Bernie Sanders certainly reaching out to those people who thought, they wanted something different.
Sure.
And it had a special appeal to millennials.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if the problem is so much that it's actually really hard to unite these different groups into a coalition of voters. I think it's probably possible. I think it's a winning coalition. I think it's possible, but I just don't think that many people have actually tried, right? I mean, if you think of the Republican Party rhetoric, it is almost designed to turn off black voters.
True.
Yeah, in fact, and that's what happened in the South.
Exactly.
And politicians used, in a sense, used race to prevent.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate that we don't have the counterfactual, right? I wish that we had tried to do something maybe a little bit differently, and then we might be sitting here right now saying, isn't it great that we have this fantastic American political party that's appealing to the concerns of both white and black poor? Unfortunately, we don't. We have a party that primarily is white working class and very little else these days, and we have a party that is the black poor, the Latino poor, and sort of the cosmopolitan middle and upper classes of all races.
Yeah, and the prevailing wisdom is they're bigger.
Prevailing wisdom is they're bigger, and if you look at the polls, that's probably true.
What do you think? What impact do you think this election is having on this country, other than a sense of disdain for the tenor of it?
I think that this election is really having a negative effect, especially on the white working class, right? Because I think a lot of these grievances are legitimate, but what it's doing is it's giving people an excuse to point the finger at someone else. It's
true. Like, what a sobering take on all of this, right?
Point the finger at Mexican immigrants or Chinese trade or the Democratic elites or whatever else. And so,
wow. What did he say? Immigration, Chinese trade, and the Democrat and the elites? Huh, crazy.
Sometimes these villains are legitimate. I think it's totally fair to say that the policy elites of the Democratic Party haven't been totally concerned about the white working class. But at the same time, fundamentally what's going on and what Donald Trump has done is change the focus of the white working class from a sort of engaged and constructive politics to a politics of pointing the finger.
Yeah, someone on this program,
Joe Biden.
Jeff Greenfield said that Hillary Clinton, he worked with Bobby Kennedy, and he worked with John Lindsay and others, and a Yale law graduate, by the way, I think. Yeah.
Okay.
Said Bobby said that what Hillary Clinton should do now, he says she should go to these working class communities, and perhaps she is, but go to them and say, I may not get your vote, but I want you to know I'm listening, and I want you to know that if I win and even don't get your vote, I'm coming back.
Sure.
To give them some sense, to be able to believe that that somebody heading for Washington, if she is indeed heading for Washington, has taken enough time to try to hear what the problems are.
Sure. I think that would be an extraordinarily constructive addition to our politics, because at the end of the day, if people only focus on those who they think are going to vote for them, then we're going to have an increasingly polarized electorate, right?
Yes.
So, I think that there could be a natural constituency in the white working class for Hillary Clinton. Obviously, the white working class voted for Bill Clinton in overwhelming numbers. So it's not, to me, it's not so much an ideological opposition to either the Democratic or the Republican elites. It's a sense that people just don't care about those like you.
Exactly right. They don't care.
Exactly. And, that feeling, unfortunately, if you think about the political dialogue that we're already starting to have, both on the left and the right, there's a movement to sort of gloat over the fact that the elites were right about Donald Trump, right? I'm a never Trump guy. I never liked him. And I've noticed this willingness from people who think a lot like I do that, look, we told you so. To all these white working class voters, we told you so. We told you that Trump was going to be a terrible candidate. We told you that you were an idiot if you voted for him. The problem is, if you take that attitude of sort of gloating over Trump's defeat, then you're playing into the very thing that gave rise to Trump in the first place, which is a feeling that the elites think that they're smarter than you and just think you're a bunch of idiots.
What impact have writing this book had on you? I mean, other than the fact that
human history, Christian white men mostly have decided that yes, actually it would be worth dying to prove a point. That's how it happened. That's how we got this. The free speech that you enjoy, to the extent that you're able to have free speech, is because of that. Is because of men like this. Irony posters, anybody who's irony posting right now, I haven't seen too much. And marched on Washington. The reason we have free speech is because at pivotal stages throughout human history, Christian white men mostly have decided that yes, actually it would be worth dying to prove a point. That's how it happened. That's how we got this. The free speech that you enjoy, to the extent that you're able to have free speech, is because of that. Is because of men like this. Irony posters, anybody who's irony posting right now, I haven't seen too much of it, but for the sake of your own souls, you might not want to do that. And I say that as somebody who didn't always take everything as seriously as I should. And there's, you don't have to take everything seriously, but there's a wrong time to do stuff. And it might have spiritual ramifications. I'm worried for you. That's all why I'm saying it. And lastly, important thing before rocking out here, I think that we are all so smart and internet savvy that it's not possible for someone like me or like you or like little Timmy Thomas on his computer. He's got 10 Discord channels. He's a computer wizard.
Timmy Thomas is prolific on Discord.
It would be impossible for someone as smart as us to fall for any kind of psyop or emotional manipulation at a time like this. But on the off chance that this is a very small chance, on the off chance that somebody somewhere with an agenda, there's almost no chance this is happening. No. On the off chance that somebody somewhere with an agenda might be looking to capitalize on this event, spin it for nefarious purposes, very small chance this is happening. I can't see this happening. Even though we're so smart, it might behoove us to choose our words, would you say carefully?
Cautiously, carefully, intentionally.
A degree of precision. Discriminately. Including your own internal dialogue. No matter what the result.
Somebody, if there was still a Chappelle show, you remember the old joke about I think he said this a few times in a stand-up, and the Chappelle show is like, the cops show up at a crime scene or whatever, or if they accidentally kill a dude, sprinkle some crack on him, we can get out of here, call it a day. There's got to be some modern iteration of that joke with the FBI stumbling upon some mass shooter, and it's like, sprinkle some fucking Brazilian trans hormones on him or whatever, you know, sprinkle the pill bottle on him, the estrogen, and we're good. Let's go.
Of the speculation is the end result is the same, and that's that you, white man, are under attack. And that's that. Let's take a look at who our enemies are here. I tweeted at the quartering because he said, I love the quartering, he's my guy. He said, don't look at the video. You got to look at these videos. You have to know what these people are trying to do to you. You have to know, you don't even have a family. That's the thing. You don't have a family because they've set up this clown world where you're convinced not to start a family. It's economically impossible to start a family. But even if you had a family, you don't even know what's been taken from you. That's what's so fucked up. You have to watch these. You have to know that there is evil out there in the world. This isn't like being 15 and watching Best Gore or something. You have to know that there is evil out there in the world. There's this idea of the seen versus the unseen. And I got to say, thank God, Irina Zarutska was hot.
No, it does. It calls more attention to it.
No shit. Mm-hmm. For every one of these people being killed, who could be a relative of yours, could be someone you cared about, it could be you. For every one of these people, there are...
Does it? I don't know if that's true. Well, I feel like we talked for a long time about the that one crazy guy, I don't even know if he was black or not, but the guy who set himself on fire on that bus. I think it's just the fact that one is black and one is white. I don't know if anybody else felt differently. I'm curious for ordinary conservatives. I say ordinary MAGA or whatever. I felt like it was super disgusting. Seeing pictures of that murdered woman like in a bathing suit on Fox News and shit, that felt really fucking weird to me.
Thousands. Just alone in the UK, the girls being raped. There's like over 100,000. How many is it? We don't see it because there's no video of it, and the media is not publicizing it.
And the details of each and every one of those are like science fiction level. I can't comprehend how bad, yeah.
And then the police in the UK arresting the victims. That's a common pattern I've noticed too.
Yeah.
Fucking faggots, man.
Like folded into that one video of her getting stabbed is like, hundreds of thousands of people are...
It makes the magnitude of the problem obvious even to boomers and retards on Facebook, which is why that video is important. It's why you have to memorize it. You can't let this stuff fade away. And you have to watch these too. You have to internalize this. You have to realize that this is real. These are the people going to a vigil and shouting, fuck Charlie Kirk. But if anything like this pops off and people get in legal trouble, I will put money towards this if someone out there is capable of organizing that in a non-scammy way. Hit play on this. Notice, unlike a black attack, they're not killing this guy.
Right.
You cannot hide from this content. It's important not to be obnoxious, but everybody needs to know about this stuff. Click view on the post that's muted. America, we must come together around in condemning the cruel and violent assassination of Charlie Kirk and become one nation that relies on the love. If you read the word love, have your defenses up. Be ready. The love and support of all of its citizens. Scroll up. I dream of an America with no Charlie Kirk. Don't believe any of these people when they say they want peace. They don't want peace. They just want to not lose. I don't think anybody, including myself, in America really, with the exception of people who have been victims of violent crimes or perpetrated them, understand how bad civil war would be. But do not believe these people when they say they want peace. That's not what they want. They want to go back to flying under the radar and having the ability to fuck with you at liberty with no consequences. That's what they want. You need to remember that. Here's Gavin Newsom, this guy. The attack on Charlie Kirk is disgusting, violent, and reprehensible. In the United States of America, we must...
Gavin Newsom should have disavowed harder. This video has 520,000 views or whatever. 510,000 views in 19 hours.
Reject political violence.
Is Sam Hyde classified as a griper? No. But he has another flavor of, I don't like to use neo-Nazi because people who are far right think that I'm just like calling him a Nazi or whatever. He's like, but if you can find another word for it or whatever. They might overlap a little bit, but I think Sam Hyde is going to be more like bog standard, boilerplate, neo-Nazi-ish versus Fuentes, I think, wants to be a little bit more mainstream again. So I think Hyde is going to give you a more raw take.
In every form, play the clip.
I'm sorry, I know some people's sensibilities. I respect and appreciate that. But right now, with all due respect, we're walking down a damn different path. We're fighting fire with fire. We're going to punch these sons of bitches in the mouth.
Next clip.
Left-wingers, liberals, you need to be fucking showing your opponent's guts on there, okay? You need to be gutting them. You need to be shanking these motherfuckers and letting their intestines just ride on stage. What the fuck is this shit, man? Slice them up. Slice them and fucking dice them. What the fuck is this?
874 Bellevue Drive, and I'm gonna kill you with my AR-15. Like that's the type of messages they were leaving in this dude's office, and he's resigning. Like he's literally, this is his last term. So I think that people are a lot more radical. It's hurt poor people that they can afford housing in Berkeley. I don't know how.
My understanding is that the property owners who have properties there choose just not to rent it at all.
Yeah, kill them. Kill those motherfuckers and murder those motherfuckers in the street. Let the streets soak in their fucking red capitalist bloods, dude.
This honestly makes me nervous for Hassan. I don't even like how much trouble he's getting himself into. Like I hate this guy. It makes me nervous for him listening to him say this shit. This is opening a door that I don't think he understands and is not ready for.
It's so much worse than I thought it was gonna be.
There's no other.
Like, yeah, but also like Hassan is not center left, right? Like why is Hassan being shown alongside Gavin Newsom? What?
Emotion that makes me nervous for him.
It felt like when Augustus Gloop fell in the chocolate river.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't know that that's so bad.
Yeah.
He's gonna be stuck in a tube, and that's not a threat. I don't condone people being stuck in tubes.
We don't want to see people turn into blueberries. We don't want to see any fizzy lifting drinks. We especially don't want to see anybody shrunk down into a television.
TV.
That was the weirdest one. That was the yellow submarine of the movie. Yeah. That was a weird transformation.
All right, let's hear him talking about killing his fellow podcaster's wife or whatever this is.
Every type of armed resistance against both the settlers and also the Israeli occupying force in the West Bank. Doesn't matter if it's your favorite podcasters like wife that participate in these raids.
Do you think a video compilation of right-leaning schizo posting threats would go as hard as this retarded compilation? Only if the left plays it over and over again. You have to have the amplification factor, right? You have to have the resonating structure. Because on the left, look how many people are trying to quote the Charlie Kirk stuff. And what's happening? The right's just quoting it, misquoting it, or saying, "Oh, you are you're taking him out of context. You're providing justifications for murdering him." Right? That's
the violence that the Palestinians engage in an act of resistance against this illegal occupying force is literally legal, definitionally legal. Okay? It's just the truth.
Is it crazy to pray for Hassan?
No, absolutely
He looks so in over his head. This seems so dangerous.
I've never seen anybody say things that's blatantly violent.
This kid had a good point, too. The thing about cultivating a radical fan base is that you have to get progressively more and more extreme to satiate them and keep their attention. Hassan is now calling for the assassination of someone because they're Israeli. This was always the natural outcome of his politics. Yeah, he's like stuck. Like, how is he going to get out of this? Or what's the end wokeness tweet? And then the Speaker Johnson tweet.
This whole goddamn thing is that he is not martyr material, so his death will mean nothing. It will activate no one. It will impact few. It's just great.
I don't think I've publicly expressed pathos for my, is it the word where you look at pathos? Pity or sorrow. I've never relished the misfortune of iDubbbz, just so you guys know.
It's hard to see people lose.
Without hyperbole, I think this is like the Rubicon moment here. And whatever happens in the next 2 weeks is going to determine the future, not just of this country, but of humanity. It's going to determine where we're positioned economically, defensively, culturally, etc., against China. Not that everything's a competition with China, but this idea of America being the best place. And it's not so much that it's important that the idea of America being the best place is true or something. It's what's important is that there's a land where there's a reasonable degree of peace and freedom and the ability to innovate and pursue your dreams and be an individual and be a people. For the Chinese, that's China, and they have their own problems, I'm sure, that I don't understand or care about. When it comes to white people, though, it seems like Europe is largely a museum on its way down the toilet. An elegant, beautiful museum full of plenty of people who are beautiful, good people who deserve to live, but it's not looking good for them, and that's not a fight that we really have a hand in, immediate agency in.
Is this the precursor to the one clip we watched?
It wasn't school indoctrination. Carrie Lake went off on that. He was in an online. It wasn't school indoctrination. Carrie Lake went off on that. He was in an online apprenticeship program at Dixie Technical College, which I don't think was changed.
I would just note
I
the
understand,
family
but
said
they didn't say
changed.
when he changed.
Yeah.
I'm just saying we need more information before you
Charlie
smear.
Kirk at a dinner
Before.
We don't need more information.
Really?
Yes, we don't need it. What is interesting here is why is only this happening on the left and not the right? That's all we need to know. There's absolutely no
What about Melissa Hortman that we just
you want to talk about Melissa Hortman? Did you know her name before it happened? None of us did. None of us were spending every single day talking about Mrs. Hortman. I never heard of her until after she died.
Doesn't matter?
Don't play that bullshit with me. You know what I'm saying is there was no demonization amplification about that woman before she died. It was a specific crime against her by somebody who knew her. The same.
Oh my god! I can't say it. I'm already fed posting so hard right now, waiting for the FBI to show up. Like, seriously, this is what they do. This is what they do. Really? It was a personal vendetta? Excuse me. Do we know if this person knew Charlie at all? What a bizarre thing to say.
Oh, what I'm saying is there was no demonization amplification about that woman before she died. It was a specific crime against her by somebody who knew her. The same. Now, you can bring up Josh Shapiro, but then you will not bring up, for example, that was a pro-Palestine person. So don't use your. What about this? The fact of the matter is the both sides argument not only doesn't fly. We don't care. We don't care about your both sides argument. That shit is dead. For one.
Can someone
Jesus.
please explain this to me? We're driving through Las Vegas, and this is the third flag not at half-mast today for 9/11 and poor Charlie Kirk. Please explain this to me, Chevron.
Claiming that I wasn't sufficiently grieving. But here it is.
My message to Hassan Piker and every liberal cocksucker like him. You better disavow this violence. You better cry like Dean Withers. And I don't say that. Maybe that comes off like I'm humiliating him. Who knows whether that was sincere or not? I hope to God that it was. And if it was, you know what?
Okay, I take offense to him calling me a liberal. I think that's a bit fucked up. You better cry. Look at this little booger-eating fucking manlet. This little man. Talking big game. Talking big shit. You better cry. Well, I'm not. The fuck are you gonna do about it, bitch? The fuck is this shit?
This is our country, and it's all we know. We're not going anywhere. It would be a tragedy on many levels, on a human suffering level, on a human achievement level, on every conceivable level, for everything that our ancestors fought for to become Brazil or something like it or something worse. There's not going to be another moment like this. I don't think. In terms of intensity, sure, maybe, but in terms of possibilities, I don't think there will be another moment like this. I think this is the turning point for our country. It's critically important that we have the right attitude of optimism, compassion when it's warranted, reserve when it's warranted, resolve all the time. And that brings me to my next point. The Constitution has failed. I don't care about some fucking piece of paper. I don't. I went to high school. I learned about the Constitution. I know about the Holocaust and slavery. I saw it in a movie. I know about the Constitution. I saw that in the movies too. But in real life, it would appear that the Constitution is a fucking toilet rag that only gets thrown in our faces when it can be used against us, when it can be used to fuck with us, to make us poor, to displace us in our neighborhoods, to help us lose our jobs, to make it so that the jobs don't exist. That's when the Constitution is defended the most effectively, is when it can be used to make you ineffective. It's an artifact from a completely different planet. It's from a white country that was run by white Christian men. Does South Africa have a constitution?
I think so.
That's a ChatGPT deep research question. Does South Africa have a constitution? More importantly, has it helped them?
It is interesting how, like Christianity, it's used as a cudgel against its believers by people who actively don't follow it.
Yep.
And don't believe in it.
If you have opponents who are playing by the rules and you don't have any mandate to play by the rules, why wouldn't you?
So you hear it's all the same talking points from the other end, right? Seditious conspiracy is what a lot of those Proud Boys guys were literally convicted of. The seditious conspiracy to overthrow the government. In every court that adjudicated on whether or not Trump had participated in an insurrection, all of them said yep too. But they said yes. And then the Supreme Court said that it doesn't count. We're not taking that part of the 14th Amendment seriously anymore.
Yep. And don't believe in it.
If you have...
But somehow they're the persecuted ones. All pardoned, by the way.
Yep.
And don't believe in it.
If you have opponents who are playing by the rules and you don't have any mandate to play by the rules, why wouldn't you use their rules against them? South Africa has a constitution. Can you ask Grok 4 Heavy if you go wave the South African constitution down there and prevent farmers from being murdered? If roving blacks come to your farm with phone jamming equipment and a plan to kill your family, would a copy of the South African constitution come in handy? Click Think Harder, please. Down at the bottom, Think Harder. If roving feral blacks, who the government is encouraging to murder you, come to your farm to kill your children, Grok 4 Heavy's working pretty hard on this one. We have about 70,000 GPUs running right now, burning enough electricity to power Las Vegas. The phrasing suggests attackers use phone jamming, not the defender. Oh, this is amazing. This thing's basically thinking like a human.
It said no before, but it was not thinking back then.
It wasn't. Okay, this is the hard mode. It's likely asking if waiving the Constitution can prevent attacks where jammers are used. Let's search for 2025 statistics on farm attacks in South Africa. This is passing the Turing test. The definition of intelligence and sentience is whether a computer can pass an arbitrary test made by some fag in the 50s. And when he wrote the test, he went like this. Great Scott!
Eureka was uttered.
Eureka! No waving around the South African Constitution or any legal document, that's kind of damning, won't do much to deter or prevent a violent attack on your farm. You know, here's the important part. Mm-hmm. It's a powerful symbol of rights and equality, but it doesn't come with a built-in force field. That said, let's break down your question factually based on South African law, crime realities, self-defense rights. So you can hold it up and claim your self-defense rights.
How heavy is it?
A 2025 case analysis notes that if the threat is unlawful and imminent, self-defense can be a valid legal defense even with an unlicensed firearm. Wow. Because that Constitution sounds pretty powerful. That actually sounds more powerful than our Constitution. Because
you don't have to license firearms in the United States, and you are allowed to do lethal self-defense, I think, in the majority of states in the United States, but okay.
If you defend yourself in our country, you're fucked. Hmm? But no longer, hopefully. We'll see. We'll see what happens in the next 2 weeks. Trump survived a bullet. He survived multiple bullets from an assassin. And the assassin was a freak from some sort of Blackwater incubation tank where they manufacture freaks. I don't even want to say that because the kid, it's probably some kid that has brain, probably was tortured with electrodes. Who knows? Right. Who knows what fucking happened? What chemicals were inserted into Trump's would-be assassin? But Trump, by the grace, he turned his head. Do you remember this? Oh, yeah. He turned his head like 10 degrees and avoided the lethal shot. He avoided the lethality of it. He got his ear. He avoided the lethality of the shot, much to the dismay to these fucking freaks on TikTok who think it would be a good thing somehow if the president were killed. In my opinion, that is a mandate from heaven. If you ever survive an assassin's bullet.
How do you ever do this as a Christian? Like, God saved Trump. Then what? What about Charlie Kirk? Did he run out of mana? Was his bullet curve ability on cooldown?
In that scenario, I would imagine that means something like you have been ordained by God to do God's work on the planet. You've been spared, and you've been spared in such a dramatic and improbable and miraculous fashion that you have a mandate from heaven to do God's work on earth. Now, is he talking about getting into heaven?
He has been talking about getting into heaven lately, apparently.
He has a mandate from heaven. And now what he has with this confluence of events is a sort of open runway to enact whatever policies he could imagine in his wildest dreams. He has a blank check to do whatever he wants, in my opinion.
And a limited time to do it.
And a very limited time to do it. I don't think that's an overstatement. I don't think that's crazy to say. Is that crazy to say?
No.
Valentine?
I suppose it would be a means in which it would make Charlie Kirk, it would make him not have died in vain.
That's also true.
Yeah. there's a lot of things at play that make what that chick said completely false. Like, she said that he's not martyr material, which is what I think she means is he's not a target that one would expect. I think the truth behind that is he's not a guy that even remotely had it coming, not that anybody does, but he's not even on the radar of guys that deserve that. And what he represents is, because he's such a non-martyr material, he represents that it could happen to everybody. And I see a lot of people saying, that's my uncle's politics, that's my grandfather's politics. And they are now realizing that, oh, they want my loved ones dead for holding some of the most benign political stances.
This is a historical moment, and there's the charge is there, the critical mass is there to do historical shit in a way that it hasn't been since 2015. There hasn't been a moment like this, arguably, at any point in Trump's presidency or in Biden's presidency, and I think this is going to define him. It's time for Trump and the people in his administration to get off their asses and do something. He's been able to enact policies like Project 2025 when it comes to punishing pro-Palestinian demonstrators, but so far, that's all he's been able to get with this. So here's what I would do if I had a mandate from heaven and I had the opportunity to fulfill that mandate. And I don't, so this is just speculation. But this is what I would do. First of all, any city where the body count on a given weekend is the same or worse than the body count in, what is one of these shithole, Mosul, Gogul. If it's a U.S. city where the body count is more than the DE Dust 2 Counter-Strike map in a deathmatch game, there needs to be military presence there. That's not a crazy thing to say. It's a national emergency when you have cities where there's 64-player map deathmatches happening every weekend. The people that perpetrate this violence in any American city, it's not hundreds of thousands of people. If you took the 80 most violent criminals and put them away for life, you would end American crime, 95% of it overnight. If you took the most violent people and locked them up and throw away the key, the 14-time felony offenders, there aren't that many of them. There are not a million of them. In an average city, there's not even 100 of them. It's a very simple matter. You take these people, lock them up, the worst ones. The abolition of the death penalty is effectively, where's that? I'm so phone-brained. There was a tweet about it talking about how, Plato, the excess of liberty, whether in states or individuals, seems only to pass into excess of slavery. Aristotle, he who bids the law rule may be deemed to bid God and reason alone rule, or in states or individuals.
What, did they just ask ChatGPT, give me quotes on crime? Or like old philosophers that talked about crime or punishment? I wonder what the prompt was for this.
Seems only to pass into excess of slavery. Aristotle, he who bids the law rule may be deemed to bid God and reason alone rule, but he who bids man rule adds an element of the beast, for passion perverts the minds of rulers even when they are the best of men. Thomas Hobbes, during the time men live without a common power to keep them all in awe, they are in that condition which is called war, and such a war as is of every man against every Cesare Beccaria, I don't remember what games he made music for, but crimes are more effectually prevented by the certainty than the severity of punishment. Nietzsche, a great danger for mankind begins with the criminal indulgence of decadence, with the sympathy for the ill-constituted and weak. I don't know that last one, it's probably some pedophiles, so we'll skip that one. Point being, if Trump doesn't care enough about us to keep us safe in our cities, then fuck him. Arrest James Comey. Can you pull up the Constantino tweet? So this is James Comey on Instagram here posting 8647. Can you even believe this? That this guy is walking around, that's a death threat. Yeah. He needs to be in fucking jail.
What's 8647? I have no idea what that
86 means kill.
By the way, I think they sold shirts. It's talking about like 86 Biden, right? Who was it? There was at least one Republican lawmaker, I think. Or wait, was it Hegseth? And Jack Posobiec. Wait, was it? Hold on, let me find this. Matt Gaetz. We've now 86'd McCarthy, McDaniel, McConnell. Alongside Hegseth's tweet, Jack Posobiec, a well-known MAGA influencer with a history of spreading conspiracy theories and a Russian paid stooge, that was one of the guys that was on the panel today, saw his 2022 post containing the number 8646 go viral again. The code has been widely used on anti-Biden merchandise, calling for the impeachment or removal of the former president. Posobiec accused Comey and other national security leaders of openly calling for the assassination of President Trump, questioning why Comey had not faced arrest. When asked about the apparent hypocrisy between Gaetz, Hegseth, and Posobiec's use of 86 numbers and Comey's post, Gaetz told The Independent that his tweets referred to past political events, while Comey's was a call for future violence. Remember, when I am weaker than you, I ask for your freedom, or I ask you for freedom, because that is according to your principles. When I am stronger than you, I take away your freedom, because that is according to my principles. It's never the same rules. Don't forget it.
47 is the 47th president.
Oh, interesting.
Just because you're speaking in code doesn't mean it's not a death threat. It makes Trump look like a fucking clown that Comey hasn't been arrested for that. That's ridiculous. Now's the time. Lock his ass up. Mass deportations, energy deregulation.
Also, imagine how brain broken, imagine how fucked your algorithm is if you're online and somehow the only people that you're seeing that are, being unhinged or celebrating Charlie Kirk's death, which, to be fair, there are a lot of, online people, a lot of liberals and stuff that are retweeting jokes and crass, tasteless humor, sure. But imagine that's all you're seeing, and you're not seeing the myriad of Republicans calling for fucking civil war. You're not seeing any of that. Like, how fucked is your algorithm that you're somehow missing all of that?
firing civil servants. The Democrat Party, wrap it up. Whatever pretext you have to, I'm not a lawyer, okay? I used to be. Whatever the pretext is, RICO case, whatever, the people who have called for violence, they should have a day in court. That has to happen. All leftists who have called for violence or hinted at it have to be arrested. Tim Waltz, any celebrity who said, wouldn't it be funny if President Trump were assassinated? Pretending like that's not a dangerous threat and not taking action on it makes him look like a fucking clown. This presidency is a joke. Whoever around him is telling him not to do these things, you have to get rid of them. The women, the Indians, anybody in the administration who's weak sauce on punishing crime, they have to be eviscerated. You got to get them out of there. Just kick them out, man. Programs like Ukraine Aid, Green Energy, shut all that shit down. Any NGO or whatever, however these people organize their graft, 501c, I don't know how it works. These organizations, any money that's flowing into them, you got to cut that off immediately. Are all the J6ers out of jail, or are any of them still in jail?
That's a good question. There should be just very few, if any, but they too.
And they should get post, like after the fact pardons, like whatever the legal thing, like you did nothing wrong, they should get fucking medals. The J6ers should get medals, even the crazy ones, even if one was there, got in a drunk driving accident after. Even the J6ers who are total crackpot, XRP, QAnon freak shows who got in drunk driving accidents and beat their wives after they got released from prison, they should get the fucking Medal of Honor. The guy that killed bin Laden, whatever medal he got a shiny one, chrome, rainbow chrome anodized. I don't know what these faggot soldier medals are. I don't know anything about soldier lingo, so you can't be slinging that around me. I don't understand. But I know that if you're one of these fruitcake soldiers, you get a big shiny one that's got rainbow anodized, and it's like the S that everybody drew in high school. That's the highest one. Whatever that is, invent a new medal, okay? Invent a new one. Give it to all the J6ers and Derek Chauvin. Do that immediately. And Derek Chauvin has to be let out of jail.
Yep.
Derek Chauvin should be the head of NPR.
Yeah. Chauvin PR, they'll call it. It's not catchy. There's no ring to it, but it should be so.
A show of power in whatever force, border security, it doesn't matter. Get troops doing something other than arresting pro-Palestinian protesters. Dummy. The Israel is our hero thing is over. That's the thing that gets these fucking bonehead conservatives caught up every single time is if I can't beat them, join them. That's done for. It's over. It's not going to happen. You're not going to join them. They're never going to let you into the club. Charlie Kirk was in that club. He started to question the club. Now he's out of the club. There's no club. You're not in the club. They're going to kill you. They want to kill you. They want to kill your kids. Stop thinking that Israel's going to save you in whatever way, shape, or form, that making a pact with the devil is going to come out good for you. It's not. You're going to get fucked. Voter suppression laws. I'm sorry to tell you this. You can only vote if you have a penis.
Did you ever hear my friend Nick Oak's solution, which is anybody who, you can have universal basic income, like $4,000 a month, but you cannot vote?
Yeah.
And so that would get rid of a lot of bad votes.
That's a good idea. And prosecute the people who stole the 2020 election, which is treasonous. That's the ultimate offense. If you're going by the playbook, if you're going by the Constitution is a...
Remember, they always say, why do you still bring that up? Why do you still bring that up? They remember.
Treasonous. That's the ultimate offense. If you're going by the playbook, if you're going by the Constitution is a document, an amazing document. There was our founders were whatever. If that's what you really believe in, then the stealing of the 2020 election, is there a crime that's higher than that?
It's like war.
It's like war.
It's like a war.
Because the ramifications, the secondary and tertiary, all the stuff that flows out of that is worse than any other crime. What's that? The tweet from Pete Hegseth? Well done, good and faith. This type of talk is meaningless unless you fucking do something about it. You can give Charlie Kirk the medal you can give him the even higher medal. You can give him the XRP medal. It doesn't matter. It's meaningless if his death means nothing. If nothing comes from this, if you don't do anything, if you let this presidency in this moment fizzle, then it's all for naught.
What is this? Every day in America for the last 9 months has just been this.
I'm gonna bomb the shit out of them.
True. Also, but disavow. Also disavow, okay? Also, you need to disavow everything. Link. Here's the full video. It gets better. There's a
activation word, Ronald McDonald.
Put on notice, if you fuck around with us, if you do something bad to us, we are going to do
all Patriots go.
Things to you that have never been done before.
Now get those lights on! The calm before the storm. Where we go one, we go on. Go! Yeah! All numbers are the same! I'm coming to kill you!
Slums of Rio, the homeless and hungry know the truth. Donald Trump, please save me. They have been forgotten. They have nothing.
Are you enjoying the show? Refill your popcorn. You'll love this next part.
They'll make America great again! Go!
I'm Donald Trump, and I approve this message.
Wait, is that me? No. Oh, Jesus. Make sure to like and subscribe on my YouTube channel. I'm playing this. I got shit to do. I might come back later and play games. I'm gonna fucking... My brain's gonna explode. Oh, I did this last night. Fuck me. Be careful out there. Stay safe. Don't die.